Hey guys, and welcome back to another NAE Live. This week I've got Greg Hylas joining me. Greg runs his own digital agency with his man Morgan called Jolly SEO. So thank you very much for joining us, Greg.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm amazed you got my last name pronunciation right
I've been practicing.
there.
So before we get started, actually there is one thing I just wanted to ask you it's something that piqued my interest and just for a little bit of fun. How did you guys settle on the pirate branding?
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is a carryover. We used to be Jolly Content.
Okay.
Uh, and this will just show you how desperate one can be. We were like, well, if we have a skeleton, it'll show that we're lean and we don't have inflated agency budgets, which is a common objection from clients. So
Right.
we'll be really lean, like really lean. And then Jolly, like the Jolly Roger thing, we were like, yeah, pirates are cool. Plus, we'll be low on overhead. So
Yeah. No, I like it. I think it's quite unique. I was just wondering how you got to that point.
yeah, we love it, man. We love it. It like even to the extent that our new thing we're launching, sorcery. We want to have like a little cute wizard guy. Like we just
Yeah.
figure, what the hell?
Yeah, we'll touch on that in a bit if you want. You can tell us all about what that is. So, Greg, for anyone who doesn't know who you are, like I see you quite all over the place. Actually, you're quite prolific in doing these videos all over LinkedIn and things like that. But for anybody who doesn't know who you are, could you just give us the overview of what it is that you do and what services you offer?
Yeah. I worked my way up, editor, writer, ghostwriter. The last year and a half or so, my buddy Morgan and I pivoted our content agency. Now we are mostly an SEO play through ghostwriting. So we
Okay.
do what's called tutorial link building. And basically what that is for any client, we send media pitches. This isn't your classic guest post where you can slip in some editorial fees. This is all just straight contributing thought leadership and rolling the dice if you get picked up or not.
Yeah, and I believe you mainly target Harrow for that. I mean, I have seen you mentioned you've branched out to other services, but it is mainly Harrow that you do that through, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. It's like 95% plus of our wins are straight off Oharo and the free version. A lot of people ask like, should I pay for premium?
Yeah,
We think it's actually. So we just do.
fair enough. You got to squeeze every little penny out of it that you can. So how did you get started in that? Like, what did the beginning look like for Jolly SEO?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we were a content agency, and we started off with this insane like 4,000 on-site piece project for Groupon, and we lived in this little fantasy world where every project would be for big name brands and
Yeah,
$50,000 here and there. It was a tough 2 years faced reality there.
yeah,
Uh, and now Jolly SEO, this is like part of the hustle aspect of freelancing, right? Like I was just mentioning before we started recording, Cult of Copy job board is a place where a lot of writers who are freelancing go to get gigs. And somebody posted this ghostwriting for media placements gig, and somebody else in the comments piggybacked off their job ad, said, I also need someone that does that. And that's how it started for us, because I did that personally
right, okay.
for a year. Yep, for that one, and then they referred me another, and then I told my buddy Morgan, like, let's shut down the agency, let's pivot to this new service. Still agency, but no content anymore. And then we brought those two originals on board, plus started building.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So I'm just going to give a shout out to Morgan here, actually. So for anybody who's interested in going way more in depth, Morgan actually did a Pick His Brain in SEO Signals Labs the other day. So I'd definitely get over there and check that out because there's some really good stuff in there. And I know, Greg, that you participated a lot in the answering of the questions over there.
You can say hijacked. It's okay. Just
I
that.
wanted to avoid the aggressive language. So, but tying that into that, a lot of the answers you were given were based around how you built your team and processes that you've put in place to get them ready to do what you need them to do, essentially. So can you go a little bit into that for me and explain what that looks like?
Yeah, yeah, and that's why even though we're an SEO service provider, what's special for us, what seems to be where we provide a lot of value is our actual background in writing. I've personally written for like founders with $1 billion exits and CEOs of 100 million ARR companies. I worked my way up as that and as a content manager, and we've run these content teams. So a lot of our experience is on the writer side, which I totally respect why a lot of people who get into link building struggle to find the right fit there,
Yeah.
and I'll admit, like even for us, every time you add a client, you gotta find at least another half a writer or a portion, like you gotta keep building hand in hand. So like we could go bit by bit on how we do it, and it's all still work in progress. But I've got some specific advice we could cover on how I would go about it.
Yeah, I mean, I would, as you say, a lot of people, especially link builders, struggle to find good writers. I mean, how many groups are you in where every day there's at least 10 to 20 posts, people asking for, where can I find a good writer? But I think the main problem that they always have is that they're not willing to pay the price for a good writer. They're always trying to squeeze that much juice out of people that, we're only willing to pay 2 cents a word and things like that. And the truth is, you're not going to get quality writing at that rate. So yeah, I would say maybe get into that a little bit, because a lot of people struggle to build their teams up, excluding those who only want to pay like pennies for the content.
Yeah.
So I think it might be valuable to hear how yourselves have done that and turn that into a success.
Yeah. Yeah, first of all, I totally sympathize. I mean, that's part of the reason we scrapped the content agency. Everybody got paid except for me and Morgan.
Right.
That's like we were paying them too much. We had zero margin for 2 years. It was bad. Like I'm telling you, like really bad. Like we probably averaged $5 to $10 an hour over those 2 years, the two of us, on our work there. Um, so I guess like let's start there. First of all, you better set your price as well, so that you can kick it down proportionally,
Yeah.
um, and make sure you still get that chunk that you need to pay for yourself. The reason I'm able to smile about this now is because we finally got that right over the past year and a half.
Yeah.
But then I totally agree with you. And even every single time I put up an ad, there's a writer who immediately will comment, sometimes with a question, but you can tell it's still a criticism about the level of pay. And I say, like, look, our awesome writers can make more than 60 an hour. Our like average professionals
Yeah.
somewhere in the 40 to 50. And then there's newbies that make around 35.
So sorry to interrupt one second. There's people criticizing that you're paying too well.
Too little, too
Oh,
little,
too
too little,
little.
too
Oh,
little.
right. Okay.
Always, it's always too little. Um, and like, and I get it. Like I respect that.
Yeah.
Uh, but wait until you're on the flip side, like you guys are. I mean, you know what I'm saying. Like you can only do so
Of
much.
course.
So yeah. So how do we make this work? So first of all, like prices, like keep them moving upwards so you can pay the team well. And then from us, we went the route of piecework plus performance-based compensation.
Okay.
So we don't pay per word. We don't even pay just for their work, and we don't pay strictly for their wins, but we kind of marry them, and it's weighted really low on the piecework and heavily on the success, and even tiered by DR for us on the
Okay.
success. So because, and I shared that in that SEO Signals Lab Pick His Brain this week. It's mid-July when we did that. We noticed this trend. You're a freelance writer. You're like, I can spot the easy wins over time, and Greg's paying me per win. I'm just gonna go for the easy wins and avoid the tough ones. Yeah, well that's for you, but then my clients over here are like, why the F am I getting all these really terrible places?
Yeah.
So we just like there's like philosophies about carrot and stick kind of encouragement that really work. But it just so happens that if you pay people well, they want to do the work more.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Of course they do, and not only that, you're going to get the best work because you guys, I believe, only deal in the high level media placement for like C-suite guys. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I won't like we do have affiliate clients and we love them. They're actually probably like half of our clientele. And so, they're C-suite, but they're like a C-suite of a company of one. So,
Yeah, yeah,
uh, um, but yeah, we also have clients like he's right on our website, so I feel comfortable saying his name, the co-founder and CMO of Nextiva. I mean, that's a big company with 1,000+ employees. So, um, it's everywhere in between. And we need good writers. Like I can't have shitty writers doing this gig. And then you get into like because we're a niche service, there's no time for editing or proofreading or revisions. This is where I feel uncomfortable, but we have very few non-native English speaking writers on because of that.
oh right,
Um,
okay.
Yeah, well, I'm very sympathetic because I'm living in China. I speak a few languages
Yeah,
relatively poorly, all of them. So uh, I admire these people. We have a writer in Kenya, we have a couple in the Philippines. That's about it.
yeah.
Because
I
unless
suppose though it does make sense since you not don't have the time spare for proofreading and editing and stuff like that. That you definitely need to trust that the guys know what they're doing first time around.
Yeah, I mean, we offer a lot of coaching. Like our coaches will give them feedback and answer questions. It's very hands-on with the coaching, but there's certain things we can't correct.
Yeah,
And you're like an affiliate site owner paying $25 an article or a guest post link builder paying $30 an article, you can pay a proofreader $5 to $10, cut out the bad stuff, but we're working with media deadlines, so we'd rather say, so sorry, we can't include you on the team. Work with people we got to pay more because they're at the right level. Pay them what they deserve because they've polished their skills for so many years.
yeah.
Uh, and do whatever.
So the training and stuff that you put together, is that something that you personally put together yourself?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
would you say that once you put that in place, the level of your guys just started rising up and up?
Yes, yes. And it's definitely iterative. So we used to do everything text-based, which I'm sure a lot of you do already, like SOPs or content guide. We
Yeah.
definitely had a 20 something
Yeah,
page content guide,
we use like a template that people can just sort of fill out.
a template, like for briefs and stuff. But we found that shifting to little Loom videos on each topic, like 2-minute videos, was a lot more digestible. So when we have a new writer join, they still get a Google Doc link, like, hey, make sure you digest this before our call where we really meet each other
Yeah.
and we first account. But they only have like 8 or 9 2 to 3 minute videos to digest instead of like this overwhelming wall of text.
Yeah.
And there's some critical stuff like we have a step-by-step
Yeah.
that we leave in text, but most of it we're just like you're always going to have access to this Google Doc. Watch it all once right now, and anytime you have one of these like FAQs, just go back and watch that specific 2-minute video. You don't need to like sit through a ton of
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm glad you mentioned Loom. Actually, we've been using Loom a lot internally because it's just
Yeah.
so much more efficient to just quickly jump on, capture your screen, and talk for a couple of minutes than like try and write an SOP out for somebody and then like they're coming back questioning it, and then you have to reaffirm what you actually meant when you can just do it there and then 1 minute, good to go.
It's so amazing. And that definitely wasn't my idea. Like, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Mine was text-based, but the quality has gone up, like the preparedness level for jumping in. And that being said, as we adjust our compensation, it doesn't match what the old loom says. I have a new writer this week who's like, but your old video says this. What does that mean? I'm like, I got to go back and do this 3-minute video again. I'm so lazy to go do that.
Got too used to the land of milk and honey. I want to thank you, by the way. Sorry, this has just popped into my head.
Yeah, yeah.
You did a post. I can't remember where it was. I think it was most likely on LinkedIn. And you mentioned Nathan Collier in it and the Content
Yeah.
Marketing Lounge, and I joined that, and that is a really great resource.
Awesome.
So I would
Yeah,
suggest anybody watching this actually get onto the Content Marketing Lounge because it's fantastic.
he's lovely. He's the guy, when Morgan and I started Jolly Content, we paid him for a month of coaching because I'd already bought some of his courses and used to sell them. They're all free now. So if you're going to join, you may as well. The whole group is free. All his courses are free. Uh, he's the guy who told me, like, Greg, you're an idiot. You're not going to get another $50,000 Groupon project because you got that last one because you'd worked at the agency for a year before they trusted you with that.
Yeah.
Like, why did you? He's just a wealth of information. He's actually our lead coach on our team now.
Oh, is he?
Very
Right. I didn't know any of that. Would you say that maybe he was a bit of a mentor to use in the beginning then?
Yeah, that was 3 years ago, and we hadn't really bounced anything off of him in a year and a half. Definitely not since we started the service. And a year ago, end of 2019, I approached him and said, Nathan, like, this is getting overwhelming for us to do solo. Like, we're inviting writers, and I know you just absolutely crush this gig. Like, do you have free time? So he wrote for us for a few months, and then it was quickly like, he's such a better coach than I am.
Right.
Like, he's such a good coach, and he enjoys it. And like beyond that, like communication skills.
Yeah.
You mentioned jokingly, I think, trying to keep it not too vulgar, but like that's a weakness of mine, and Nathan does not have that weakness. Like he's all like love and goodness.
Yeah.
So he's good to have on the team.
Yeah, good. No, that's it. I think that's important is getting people on board who fill in the gaps of your skill set. Really. Okay, so right at the beginning, you give a little snippet. Sorcery. What is it? What's it going to be?
Oh, thanks for allowing the plug.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
So,
It's fine.
so look, my team sends out almost 3,000 pitches a month right now. We're about to hit 300 placements a month for our clients. We have 50 plus clients, so not everyone needs that many. We have been building our own tool, just like the common story you always hear. And it became apparent to us so many people can't afford our premium done for you. So why don't we really polish off our in-house process and build a formal tool around it? And so we're launching sorcery.expert. That's the domain, no .com or .co for us for now.
Okay.
Sorcery expert, because media contributors. And we're just at the point where we're collecting emails for subscriber interest, but definitely going to be super affordable. I'm thinking like $2 or $3 a day tops is going to work out to. And this is going to be how we achieve an average DR 75 across these 300 placements a month, because our writers are working with Haro, but we also have VAs within 45 minutes of the Haro newsletters being published, which come out 3 times a day. They've parsed it all. So they've got the DR pegged to it. They know the known no-follow linked publications. They know the ones that never link. We've already vetted over 2,000 domains just in the nature of what we do.
Yeah.
So it won't be perfect at the start, but our promise is that we'll remain as active on that platform as we have been for ourselves, because we're migrating our whole team to it. So you better believe we're going to take care of it. I mean, it's Jolly SEO's primary tool for what we do.
So essentially, you're going to give access. You're going to give people access to your whole process and that's in-house. Am I getting that right?
We'll give them access to the tool our writers leverage.
Yeah.
And we are thinking about, like a mastermind where we teach our whole like writer SOP or coach SOP and like literally templated workflow management. Like we'll just let you download our whole like system. But for now, sorcery is going to be what each individual writer uses to find really quickly the best opportunities for their clients that are high DR.
Yeah.
Um, then the users will still need to have a good writer on their team
Yeah.
to use this product.
That sounds really interesting, to be honest. I quite like the sound of that.
Yeah, it should save. I mean, if you're a power user like us, it'll save hours upon hours upon hours upon hours for that measly money. If you're just like a one-off kind of writer, it'll still save because we're paying for Ahrefs, so you don't need to check any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna put that right there for you.
Excellent. So exciting times ahead for Jolly SEO and Sorcery then.
Yeah, we're really pumped. Thanks for letting me mention it. That is not what we're really here to do. But
No,
I appreciate
it's
that.
fine, mate. You're giving me your time. So, you know, this is free content for me, essentially. So, mate, you know, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, as the old adage goes.
Yeah.
Okay, final question then, because I'm conscious of the time and I don't want to keep it too long. I know that you've got other calls after this. If, say, I'm coming on board as a client for yourself, what does that process look like from onboarding to completion?
I'd like to even cover like vetting.
Okay.
So
Sure.
if you're gonna do a service like this, you need to do it. And I'm just speaking from experience. Like this is a different game than paying for links. You're not gonna get wins most likely for anything porn, gambling, hardcore cannabis. Um, I've sent a few thousand pitches now, and I have a 1 in 5 conversion ratio. And I took a really high-paying cannabis client pet project on. Their brand name was just too hard in that extreme, and it's just a waste of your time to play around with those. So, anyway, that being said, almost everything else is good, including like CBD. But it depends on the client's depth of brand
Okay.
and content, and you need that C-suite. Way, maybe this way. You need that C-suite, and that is all the leverage you need to get in. Then it's about writing skill and speed. So that's first off. Now, for our clients, what we promise them is they're never going to pay for anything that isn't live. So we ask them for a one-link deposit, but that's really nothing. That's just so we know like this person ain't going to pull a runner, and then we bill monthly, but only for what's live. So we ask for a minimum commitment of 5 links a month. I recommend you don't work with anyone who just wants to add 2 or 3 links for this kind of service.
Yeah.
Because there's a delay built in when you pitch. All this stuff is in another website's editorial process. You have no control over whatsoever. And then we ask them to fill out a survey that helps our ghostwriter assimilate their personality, dive into their like work-life philosophy, dive into company facts, give us links to social profiles so we can do our research properly. And then here's the critical, you need to get them on board with this. You need the first, last at companyname.com. You need a lookalike on their domain. This isn't PR. This isn't, hey, I've got a client. This is I am, and then you're a ghostwriting as then.
Yeah. So you guys really get into the client sort of frame of mind then? You like go all in for that?
Yeah. We're them. Our writers never themselves when they're working for us. I mean, in Slack with us, sure, but So that's one area where some clients, it's like a hard. I mean, some prospects, let's say, no, you cannot be me. This won't work. And to them, I'd say that's totally understandable because I'm probably never going to convince you otherwise.
Yeah.
But there are ways you can work with it. You can be like, there's a few steps we can do. We can do like, all right, I'll BCC you on the first few pitches. Even before that, it's on your domain. You'll always be able to check the sent folder anytime. You could always let us know, like, we're not in the right direction. And then for some who are like, no, that's too little too late. You already have tarnished my rep I've spent 17 years building, which is totally valid. You could say like, look, Agree. Tuesday, 2 p.m. You're going to review within 30 minutes the 3 pitches I've pre-written. I'll send them to your personal email. You say yes or no, but you got to promise me you're going to be there and do it because I'm not going to waste my time in my world, money on the writer, creating these pitches if you're not going to help.
Yeah.
So that's like a lot.
Have you always done that sort of thing, or has that come out of necessity to maybe you've had experiences with some not so good clients who really needed to have their expectations managed as they were becoming too involved in the process, should I say?
Yeah. Yes and no. Like back when we did content, we were very typical in that clients got to revise everything. We'd have to pay the writers extra to revise it. It's one reason why we personally are so in love with our new service because there's no time for client revisions. They're totally hands off. Our touch points with our clients, which we need to do better at, right now are sometime in the third week of the month, we'll send an email that says, "Hey, here's like your best win of the month, or best one or two, three. If there's that many really awesome ones."
Yeah.
And being billed on the first for the previous month's wins. So, um, but that being said, like we're here, we're responsive to feedback, and we're in SEO where even though it's a science, it's very much up for debate. We've got clients come at us saying, I only want one win from each referring domain. We've got clients who say, I only want hyper niche relevant articles or domains. And a lot of this, like we don't want to pin on ourselves up front in this sales call because it's super constricting for us. And the truth is, 80+% of clients will never make that ask for us of us. But when they do, I mean, it's so far we're like we can work with that. There may come a day where we're like, all right, here's the line. But so far, we respect what they need, and that's like as far as we can go for if they haven't even started working with us. We're like, look, we'll let you vet the first few pitches. If you're just not comfortable at all with ghostwriting, I really appreciate your interest, but we're a ghostwriting service.
Yeah, of course. I think managing expectations from the get-go is very important because I don't understand where a client may come to you wanting your services and then they'll want a call every day or an email update every single day, and it's like, dude, come on, you come to us because you know what we do. Let us do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we had one of these nightmare clients as a content agency, and we were so young and I mean, young in business, and whatever, um, that we put up with a lot of this garbage, and we knew it at the time, we knew it was wrong to do this to ourselves, uh, and we still did it, but it's a funny game as you charge more, as you feel more confident and stand your ground more, not in a mean way, not in a rude way. You just say, like, this is what I do. Do you want to work with that? Yes or no? Uh, then all of a sudden you work with people who are like, I need what you do, and I got to go take care of my stuff too. So, like, they don't want my emails. Like, they don't want to hear from me.
Yeah.
They got companies to run, other people to manage. They don't want to be managing me. They're paying me. I mean, it's a little bit of money for some people, but in my little world, it's a nice income, and it's because we're good at what we do. Thankfully, that they can just trust us to just do our thing in the background, and we're here. If they got a question,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Precisely. I agree with you. I believe that's exactly the way that it should be. If I ever reached out to say I wanted totally different from SEO. Say I wanted a plumber to come around and I wanted me house plumbing. I'm not going to be standing over his shoulder asking him every 5 minutes, what are you doing there, mate? What tool are you using? I don't think you're using the right spanner there, man. Come on. Right, I'm getting a
Yeah.
different
Well,
plumber in
at least
here.
you know the work.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. But for some reason, when it comes to SEO and digital agencies, people think that's totally acceptable to do.
Well, okay, so I know you want to cut this off, but I guess I'll say this is what helped us a lot in this regard. We don't make any promises in terms of financial ROI. We don't make any promises in terms of traffic. We don't even make promises in terms of rankings. And probably all the SEOs are like, I knew this guy was full of you know what, and thanks for confirming it. But this is what works for us. We guarantee our service.
Yeah.
And our clients, again, this isn't like to be mean or anything. The best clients for us, they already know their SEO. They already know their CRO. They already know what kind of ROI they're going to get out of what we're doing.
Mm.
And then you can fully trust us to do what we do. But if you get the clients like we've had many of in the early days with our content agency, and occasionally now when we don't vet them properly, when we're like, oh, sure, like they'll probably come around to what our ideal is, it still happens. And then that's okay. But it's important to recognize, like you said, we we probably didn't frame it as best as we could have to be in the best interest of everyone.
Yeah. No, I think from what you were saying there, it sounds like you guys run a very transparent operation, and I'm sure a lot of your clients appreciate that, and that is probably why you get the clients that you want on board.
Yeah, yeah, we're super fortunate. Everything can always be improved. This isn't to say like everything's perfect in our world. It is interesting how though the more you share, the easier it gets.
Yeah.
I definitely was in the camp of we can't share too much because then this or this bad will happen. And then as cliche as it is, I follow Gary Vee, and he talks about all the time. He's like, I just give everything away, and definitely some people poach it. Some people even poach directly his clients.
Mm.
We had another service provider, white label partner, uh, rip off our onboarding survey. And then a lead came at us and was like, your survey looks a lot like this other person who's way more established in this mastermind that we just recently joined. And we were like, that bit us in the ass a little, but
Yeah.
those are really few and far between. And in the meantime, the leads, everybody's been burned by SEOs, is what we in our industry have to acknowledge for them and openly and say, like, I know, so here's how it's going to be comfortable for you.
Yeah.
Here's what we're going to do to make it super easy and frictionless. Let's get this started as long as you make sure you protect yourself. And in our case, we ask for that deposit. We ask for a verbal, like a contract commitment of a few months, but we don't charge them up front because that'll scare them off,
Yeah.
rightly so.
Yeah. No, we're of the same mindset here that the more transparent you can be, the better. And that is also a way of vetting any potential clients. They already know what you're on about before they've even approached you.
Yeah,
So that just makes life a hell of a lot easier.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Especially if they're that ideal client, they've done their homework. I
yeah,
mean, they know where they're spending money.
that's it. So, Greg, Jolly SEO, sorcery, what do the next 12 months look like for you?
Yeah, Jolly SEO is growing steadily at like 5 to 10K MRR every month, and I would hope that we stick there, not in terms of like, I hope we don't regress because we're just in this good spot where I don't think that's going to happen. But I actually don't want to grow faster. We just exited the rapid growth. It's really intense, high pressure,
Mm.
sourcing the writers, like we already touched on, and getting the coaches. The coaches have to come from within and be proven and good communicating. It's too intense for me. Like I need to slow down a little.
Yeah,
Um, Sorcery, on the other hand, the more systems we get in place at Jolly SEO, the more people that we have, obviously that makes the margins disappear. But the more right people we get that are paid well, then the more time we have to do sorcery. We don't really know where that's going to go in terms of, are we going to have 50 people that use it, or are we going to have 1,000 people? Haro has almost 1 million subscribers, but how many are inactive?
yeah,
So we're not quite sure. Uh, our game plan is to have a platform up and live in the next couple months. I hope we get ROI positive by like early 2021. And then the maintenance would be like less than 5K a month. So I'm doing the math. I'm like, we just need like, I don't know, a couple hundred subscribers to kind of start making our money back on the initial build cost and slowly get paid. So hopefully sometime in 2021 we hit like triple digits on people who use it like we do.
Yeah.
And the good news is it's going to be very well tested by our crew of 30 writers. So yeah, that's where we are. But we're like you guys. Anybody in link building, we have a couple vulnerabilities. Anytime Google decides, all of us may have to make a small pivot or a large pivot.
Yeah.
And then what if in our specific case Harley imploded? That would rock our little world. So
Yeah.
we're both.
I think unfortunately everybody in SEO is at the mercy of Big G, really, and that's the sad reality. But it can pay off really well while it works.
Yeah. And I feel confident that if you put in this much time and dedication into building skills, you'll probably come out okay. I'm not saying there won't be some sob stories. I just feel that at this point in my life, I'm not willing to lose everything because Google made an algo update. I'll figure it out.
Of course, yeah. There's always a way. You've got there once before. You can do it again.
Yep, and it just takes trying and little pivots, adapting. That's what we're gonna be. We're good at what we do, and we're gonna keep exploring what's next.
Yeah. So, Greg, you know what? I've really enjoyed having you on. It's been fantastic. I wish you the best of luck with sorcery and your ongoing efforts with Jolly. So, final thing, where can people find you if they want to?
Yeah, if you'd like, I personally am on LinkedIn a lot. LinkedIn looks my last name, Heilers. There aren't that many of us in the world. And jollyseo.co, sorcery.expert, and then I'm kicking around in all the little niche SEO groups. I really appreciate your time, Jake. I
It's
really
okay.
do, so thank you.
No worries. Right, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Take care.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.